I felt called upon to speak. We had only one prepared speaker, and the Toastmaster was searching for a second speaker. And I decided I would offer a back pocket speech, meaning not much preparation time and not a long speech, but it had an idea that I was anxious to share. It was about my gargoyle bed. I had experiences that just seemed to pour out. I was ready to spout out. Didn't have time really for research. If this was a prepared speech, I would, but I did know that the gargoyle was known to ward off evil spirits. And that became part of my plot. The problem of there being evil spirits that the gargoyle might solve, particularly if that evil spirit was my granddad and what he was causing a problem with was the snoring. So I would just find relief going to the gargoyle bed on the second floor and have my sleep time protected. So you got a problem that you resolve. That's your story. You have a conflict that you somehow overcome. One other consideration for a story for a back pocket is to have some real-time episodes. For me, it was the snoring of my granddad, and I would have some of that snoring as part of the speech. I would also have my daughter coming in her mask to help protect my grandma, not wanting to spread anything when she was coming to get the bed. So not just to have summary, but to have some real time, but not all real time, or you're going to go way over time. Let's go over some story ideas for back pocket speeches. There are 6 of these that we could easily cover. There could be 10, 20 more ideas of categories, but one in particular is the injury. Don Groff had a knee replacement, and he was talking about the serious injury on a treadmill that he had where he knew that he needed some attention. For me, it was a twisted bowel. And I knew in ICU that as soon as I could get up and walk, I would begin my recovery. So I did a lot of walking, pulling along that IV behind me as I walked through the halls. Think about what would be an injury that hopefully had a happy ending. Pets are a favorite, not just in childhood, but as companions in later life. We had a dog Slugger that we counted a hero because he was barking up a storm when he detected that there was a brush fire that could have caught fire to our deck and the whole house. We had another dog more recently that my wife wanted as a therapy dog, but the problem was he would snap at patients. And so he was kind of not quite a success in that position, but now he's the cuddle buddy of our oldest daughter, and he is like a king to her. Talking of relatives, my other daughter has been the subject of a number of speeches. One in particular was her favorite rides. And she really put me through the mill as a teenager on her permit with me as the passenger riding shotgun. You have some relatives you could talk about, I am sure. Travel oftentimes gives us new insights, not just about destinations, but about ourselves. I traveled to England for the first time to see my in-laws, and that was an interesting experience. that I could be truthfully telling, even with my wife in the audience. Surprises are always good stories. My daughter, Chloe, surprised us with the announcement that she was getting married in 9 days. And it took us by surprise. Finally, careers. We have changes in careers, we have advancement. For me, it was having just 4 students sign up for my next semester journalism class in newspaper print journalism. I changed the media to a camcorder, video journalism, and had a class of 20 within a matter of a couple of days. Rhetorical devices, you don't have much time to design carefully. You've got just a day or two, but do have a catchy opening. For me, it was the idea that the gargoyle might ward off evil spirits, like my granddaddy's snoring. And then have an ending that also leaves the audience thinking in a positive way. For me, it was the gargoyle was now protecting my 90-year-old mother. 3 other considerations for the back pocket. 1, the time. You're going for at least 3.5 minutes. It's not just a table topic. You have time to develop a character, to have some action. And so try for at least 3.5 minutes, possibly even 4, but be wrapping it up at 4.5. You don't want to drag on. You don't want to get off on a tangent. It still is to have semblance of a prepared speech that you've run through a number of times. 4.5 is the new red. And then a second element would be the outline. You don't have time to write out the whole speech. You don't want to memorize a speech because this is a speech that's a story. And so you want to have that personal contact, looking at your audience members, having that emotion. You could use a note card, but have it very brief, just phrases or keywords. And finally, consider a virtual background, one that really lends itself to the setting, to giving the mood. But don't have a bunch, just have just one virtual background that's behind you. Don't want to scare your audience, so choose carefully what's the angle. For me, it was just something that could suggest this is the bedpost of the gargoyle. And once you've got that, you are ready to spout it out.